Okay, 9 days to go until opening game against Howard. Looking forward to the first game of the year, but as our recruiting rankings move up and we make inroads into the backyards of the big boys, you knew sooner or later it was going to happen. We lose 4-star, 6'4", 215-pound defensive lineman out of Georgia, Chase Linton. Richie and Mike from the Night Report kind of saw this coming, but we kind of knew this might happen as soon as, big programs like Georgia took a second look at guys that we pilfered out of their backyard. And, it's unfortunate because we're making inroads, beating out, Michigan, Penn State, even Syracuse, who we're kind of in a recruiting battle with for recruits from this area. Nonetheless, some people feel that, okay, we can't blame him. He's from Georgia. Georgia's always in the national championship picture. But I would take a different view on that, and I have a totally opposite view. If you look at Chase Linton, he wasn't rated. Then he got pushed up to a 3-star recruit. And when we got him, he was a 4-star with 247, 3-star with some other recruiting services. His offer list was not that impressive. I think he had Appalachian State. Who else was on that list? Georgia State. Just programs that aren't necessarily on the radar of up-and-coming, highly rated recruits. East Carolina was in there, Memphis, UMass. So when Rutgers offers, it's like, hey, this is a legitimate Big Ten program. I'll jump with that. But if I was Rutgers, I would be careful about, first of all, their ability to identify talent is very good, obviously. But when you go into the backyard of the big boys and you find these guys that you like, they're a little bit under the radar, or maybe the big boy program took a look at them and were like, thanks, but no thanks. So if you're a recruit and your hometown program doesn't want you, and somebody else is pursuing you and all over you, you have to think about what that means for your development. Are you going to be, a second thought once you get to Georgia, and you're going to ride the bench with a bevy of, 4- and 5-star recruits? Or are you going to be part of a really good developmental program like Rutgers, who, despite not having a bevy of 4- and 5-star recruits, are getting guys into the NFL, especially on defense? You need to think about that. And strategically, if I was Rutgers, I would think twice about going into the backyard of places like Georgia, because once Georgia or a team or a program like that takes a second look and they like the player, they're just going to pull the rug right out from under you. I almost like doing what we do well, finding under the radar gems, developing them. That doesn't mean that you can't, pursue a 3-star recruit in Georgia that's not getting a lot of love from the regional powerhouses. Maybe you still do that. But if you see a guy with huge upside, there's a pretty good chance that he's going to be pilfered from you, especially Georgia now is 4th, I believe, in recruiting ranks behind Alabama, LSU, and Ohio State. Rutgers, I guess, depending on whose numbers you listen to, still pretty good in that 20 to 25 range. We were top 10 for a while. We now have 29 recruits for next year's class, but there's a pretty good chance that we're also going to lose Braxton Kyle as well. He's likely gone. He's got offers from Georgia, North Carolina, Texas, Texas Tech. And that's the risk you take by going after the guys right in the backyard of the big boy programs. So I would kind of rethink that unless you know this guy is a Rutgers kind of guy, and he's a guy that wants it delivered straight to him, isn't going for all the glitz and the glamour. So we'll see how that impacts Rutgers recruiting going forward. I'm really confident that the Rutgers staff will find a replacement. You know, Chase was at one point the number 48 edge in the class. I think now he's in the number 30 to 35 recruit out of Georgia. And apparently what helped turn Georgia around at these camps was his athleticism. At his size, 6'4", 215, and you know, you're running a 4'6", 40. I mean, I'm sure that's going to open some eyes. So wish him well. I don't know if we have an opportunity. He's taking visits to both Georgia and Rutgers in September. Who knows? Maybe he soaks up the vibe and it's like, hey, I like those guys in Jersey better. They give it to me straight. Nonetheless, wish him well. We'll see how it goes with Braxton as well. I mean, we still have Myron Gurman and Robbie Johnson in the fold, so we'll see how that whole defensive line rotation in the recruiting world goes. I have confidence that, you know, if they don't find a 4-star guy, they'll find a 3-star guy they can develop. That's just what we do. The other thing is finding guys that are going to fit your culture. Talk about it a lot. You know, finding guys that want to be developed, want to be pushed hard. They're not necessarily going for the bag, and they're not necessarily going for the low-hanging fruit and the glitz and glamour of a glamorous program. So finding those hidden gems is hard. You know, again, I'd rethink recruiting early in the backyard of the big boys. There's a pretty good chance if you find them and they start to have more eyeballs on them, that there's a good chance that you'll lose them. Identifying under the, you know, taking the road less traveled, so to speak, I think is a good strategy. You can find guys, we're good at it. So I'd be a little careful out of, you know, pilfering 4-star recruits out of the big boys' backyards too early. It's almost better to maybe miss out on a guy, or he's not in your top 5, and then you build up momentum late because you wow them. You come bring them to Jersey, we give it to them straight. You go to New York, you go to the beach, you go to the campus, and you're able to land top recruits that way. You know, nonetheless, this is going to be a interesting season. A lot of eyeballs on Rutgers now. Many prognosticators predicting a double-digit win for us. I saw something the other day. USA Today. This was an interesting. USA Today was interesting. They had 5 games that will be barometer games for Rutgers this year, and you know, a couple of them we could figure out, but they kind of lost me. The first one, and we all know the one that we're talking about, is Virginia Tech. Oddly enough, many people pick us to lose. It's on the road in a tough place to play. Virginia Tech last year picked up momentum late, had a really good offense. Kyron Drones at first game against us, and I'm always worried about mobile new quarterbacks that we haven't had a chance to prepare for. And he had a decent game, but we were able to clamp down on the passing game pretty decently as we ran the ball down their throat. Nonetheless, a lot of prognosticators believe, because of their high-powered offense, I think Jones had 17-4, 17-5 last year, touchdowns to interceptions. And they feel, okay, now it's their turn to win at home, but I'm not so sure about that. I think we were similar. Last year was a barometer game, and by all intents and purposes, we were a step ahead of them. I think we're still a step ahead of them talent-wise and on our trajectory, but here's why I don't worry about it as much. Now we know who Kyron Drones is. We know what to expect. We know how to prepare for him, and Coach Schiano will undoubtedly do a good job of preparing the second time around. It's going to be a tough place to play at Virginia Tech, but if you have visions of double-digit win season, you have to play well on the road against decent to good teams. The second game that USA picked, and a lot of people actually have picked us to win because of the attrition and losing guys to the NFL, and new head coach Jed Fish from New Jersey. I'm ambivalent about this. Yes, it's a home game, and I think Washington was Washington the game, the Chris Laviano game with the spike on fourth down? I think it was. So I have bad vibes from that. But look, this is still a team that's stacked with talent. They have top recruiting classes every year. They're going to have guys on the field that can make plays. So, yes, I think it's a barometer program. Yes, it's a name brand program that was in the national championship game last year. Any kind of win whatsoever over Washington is really good, a really good job, and that's kind of a barometer game. UCLA, UCLA has another team that is going through transition. They have a new coach. By the way, I think it's important how well we stack up against these newcomers to the Big Ten, that West Coast style, that Pac-12 kind of Big 12 wide open style of offense, winging the ball all over the place, which UCLA can't do, as well as USC. Nonetheless, that's going to be a barometer if our defense can hang with them and how well our offense can match points or control the ball and be methodical and eat up clock. Nonetheless, USA Today picks UCLA as another barometer team, and I would say so. Okay, they're a decent Pac-12 team. They have pretty good recruiting classes in around 30 to 35. They do have a new coach. Their defense is better than their offense. But here's where USA Today kind of loses me. They pick Illinois. And, Brett Bielema, good coach, coming off a 5-7 year. And they are a middle of the pack team. According to USA Today, they say we beat them on the road 3 years ago with Gavin Wimsatt's debut. Illinois' defense was poor last season and lost considerable talent in the offseason. The offense, they say, should be better. And with quarterback Luke Altmaier's second season, I think they're going to make some progress. But they go on to say it's a winnable game for Rutgers. Yeah, and I don't know why. They say it's a big opportunity on the second to last game of the year. I don't know why that is, other than down the stretch last year we faded. We had injuries. We lost the war of attrition down the stretch. So if you could pick some wins late in the season, yeah, okay. Need to build some momentum, get that good bowl invite, get some juice and some excitement around the program. But they basically say almost the same thing about Michigan State, which is also a barometer game, according to USA Today. Another team with a first-year head coach in Jonathan Smith, who takes over from the Mel Tucker scandal. They also lost a lot of talent. They have a transfer quarterback in Aiden Childs. But it's a transitional season for them, as it is for, not unlike UCLA. USA Today's spin is, well, this could provide Rutgers to pick up a strong road victory to close out the regular season. Now, that's always a really good thing, especially against the Big Ten rival. Even if Michigan State is, they go 5-7, you still want to be able to beat them on the road. But I think they're kind of missing. USA Today is missing the boat here. You need to beat teams that are our peers. This year, to me, reminds me of the 2004-5-6 window when we were starting to make progress, and you have to beat teams that were your peers that were better than you, and you're now moving ahead of. If you remember, Pitt, Louisville, South Florida, even UConn and Syracuse were better than were our peers, and we started to do well and beat them in that 2005-2006 window. I think that's what we have to do here. We can't sleep on Nebraska. Can't sleep on Wisconsin. You know, Wisconsin's going to be better this year. Luke Fickell will be in his second year. The offense should be a little more efficient. We lost, what was it, 23-14 last year. In a game, by the way, we could have won. We had another big turnover at the quarterback position that kind of flipped the momentum of the game. So we were right there with them. But they're going to be better. And people are kind of ignoring the matchup against Wisconsin. So that's a team that we're absolutely going to have to beat. And Matt Rule, in his second year at Nebraska, who also had a very good defense like us, you know, they're going to, you know, the big five-star transfer quarterback out of Georgia is going to change their offense somewhat. So we have to be prepared for a Nebraska team that not only is going to play defense, play ugly on offense, and hope to edge out a win, not unlike us, by the way, but they're going to look to make some plays in the passing game. We have to be ready for that. So Nebraska's another one of those teams that are kind of our peer. You know, they've been better than us historically. We had a better year than them last year. We have to make sure that even though Nebraska is a really tough place to play, like Virginia Tech, we're going to have to pull this game off. This is a barometer a game for me, absolutely. Have to beat teams that are our peers, who are national brands, who have been good, maybe taking a step back or on the upswing. Virginia Tech, Washington, USC, another barometer game. Yes, it's on the road. A lot of people are penciling in a loss for us, traveling across the country and playing UC with that explosive Pac-12/Big 12 Lincoln Riley kind of offense. That will be a barometer to see how we stack up stylistically. You know, it's going to be Big Ten football, old school Big Ten football versus Pac-12/Big 12 kind of offensive football. So that's a barometer how we're going to stack up against the Big Ten newcomers. If we can beat USC, and you know, just say USC is an 8-4 team this year, 7-5, we can beat them. That's a good win. So I think that's really important, as is the game against crosstown rivals UCLA. So I think the obvious 5 barometer games for us are the ones that you would automatically check off at the beginning of the season. Nonetheless, one of the prognosticators out there had us finishing up in the Detroit Bowl against Central Michigan as a 21-point favorite. I don't know. I guess I'd take it depending on how the season fleshed out. Nonetheless, early odds-on favorites to land in the Detroit Bowl. Everybody enjoy your week, and I look forward to the upcoming week and the momentum building towards Howard. Enjoy the rest of your week, everybody, and we will see you the next time. Okay, popping in real quick for a bit of news. Not good news. Linebacker MO Toure is going to miss the season with an ACL injury, and that's a shame. He was, the linebacker room really needed him, and Tyree Powell to be a force this year. Looks like Darian Jabome and Moses Walker are going to be thrown into the fire right away and be starting against Howard. We wish all the luck. It's just a shame. It wouldn't be Rutgers or the Jets or the Giants without impactful injuries. We were able to avoid most of that this year. Unfortunately, MO Toure out for the season. We wish him all the best and hope that our defense and that linebacker room can pick up the pieces and be as dominant as we thought they would be starting off the season. We'll see you next time.